Hey, what's going on, guys? No other Protogen here, and welcome back to another video. Now, I know that I already declared that I was a Final Fantasy XIV channel, and that's the main content that I'm going to focus on from now on. However, I wanted to touch upon something that I felt like was necessary as a person who's been playing Overwatch since I'd say probably the beginning of the game, or at least beginning of the competitive season, because I played since season 1. And also someone who's made a decent amount of Overwatch content on the channel, and I'm a huge Overwatch fan. And I also saw my buddy Blue Like Rock, shout out to him, even though he probably doesn't need it. And I saw that he made a video on his thoughts and opinions, well, not opinions, but more just thoughts and just his story about his journey with Overwatch 1 and all the things that it did for him and all that stuff. And I thought it was a really great video and it was sweet, and I was like, you know what, I might as well do it too. So I'm gonna be stealing your idea for this one, buddy. But anyway, no, but seriously, I wanted to I feel like this would probably be a good time, since Overwatch 1 finally just shut down yesterday, to just kind of just go on about all the things that I've went through with Overwatch 1 and how it changed my life. Because that game, I don't want to say that it was a turning point or anything, but it definitely helped push me towards a lot of things and made me realize a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have before. And we'll be getting into that to this video. This video will probably be pretty long, and it won't be heavily edited like my normal videos. This is a more serious video. So if this isn't your type of video, then don't worry, you can obviously skip it and move on to the next one. But I just wanted to get this out there, just get this off my chest as my sort of personal tribute to Overwatch 1 and all the things that I loved, hated, and the things that it did for me. I wanted to I'm just gonna kind of copy Blue's format again. Sorry, buddy, but I'd recommend you go watch his video first, because his video is probably way more, no, not even probably, it's gonna be way better edited and way better formatted and all that stuff than what this video will be. Because this video, I prefer to just keep it simple with these type of videos. But anyway, I'm just gonna go start from the beginning. I remember seeing sorry, this is unscripted, but anyway, I remember seeing a trailer for Overwatch 1 way back in 2016. I had I just gotten my Xbox One after performing well in school, because that was my sort of caveat to getting stuff back when I was a teenager and didn't have a job and any of that stuff. I had to get good grades, and if I got good grades, I got stuff that I asked for. And I got an Xbox One like a year after that, or a year before that. And I thought, oh man, I really want to play Overwatch 1, but I don't have the money for it. So I remember talking to my dad about it a long time ago. I was like, hey, this is really cool game that I liked that's coming out soon. And he was like, okay, well, that's cool. Like I didn't think I was going to be getting it anytime soon, but like one day he just surprised me with a pre-owned. I think it was not pre-owned. It was a fresh copy of Overwatch 1, and I was so hyped. As soon as I saw it, I fucking ran to my room and put the disc in and started to download and all that shit for the updates and whatnot. And I immediately just got stuck into it, and I was playing it for basically the entire day. It was such a nostalgic, not even nostalgic, but it was such a breath of fresh air for me, because I really needed a new shooter to play, because I don't play a whole lot of shooters, but all the shooters that I did play, which was mainly Call of Duty, I was really bored of, because I just didn't like how Call of Duty played, and it just felt so boring. It was so slow, and I just really didn't like it. So I needed a new shooter, and Overwatch was that shooter. So as soon as I got the disc from my dad, I just ran up to my room, started playing it, and I was so enraptured by all the characters, all the hidden lore behind things, the cute little voice lines, the ultimates. It was so awesome to me. It was unlike anything I ever played. Like, it was basically my first hero shooter. That was around the time when hero shooters were kind of rising up. Battleborn was one too, but we all know how that turned out. But I was really happy to be playing it. It was such a fun game. I didn't have anyone to play it with, but I was playing it a bunch on my own, so I didn't really care about that too much anyway. And later down the line, I eventually started to go right into competitive because I was like, it was around the time where I thought, okay, I've gotten pretty good at this game. I've been playing for about like roughly 50 hours, roughly 50 to 60 hours, so I should probably try and go into competitive. So I queued in, and I believe I placed in like gold, like most people do. And it was like, I don't remember the exact SR because it was so long ago, and I don't have any pictures or anything. So I think it was around 2300, 2300. I wouldn't be able to know. But if you really want to know, you can always look it up on my computer profile on Xbox, but because that's where I started on. But yeah, I was really, really invested into the game, so I thought I'd give competitive a try, play gold, and then after that, I eventually worked my way up to high gold. I was like 2400, 2450 or something, and I was kind of stagnating, kind of stuck in the elo hell for a little bit. So I eventually met, like, after I changed my name from I don't even remember, some generic Xbox name. I changed it from that to Genocide Lemur 7. The context behind that, it was from a fucking American Dad episode, but I changed it to that, and around that time, it was like whenever I started getting attention from other people because my name was really funny. So, like, because out of context, it's something that you don't expect. But anyway, I met this one person. He was with another friend. He knows who he is. I won't say any names because I don't want to put people on blast or anything. And not on blast, but I don't want to say any names just for privacy's sake. But he was a really good friend of mine, still is to this day. And we met on Overwatch 1, like in a competitive lobby, and he was like, "Hey, you're pretty good. You want to run some game with me and my friend?" And I was like, "Sure." So I ended up running like a bunch of games with them that day, and we grew friends pretty quickly because we were both furries. We both like with Overwatch, obviously, and we both didn't really have a whole lot of friends to play with in general, so we ended up becoming best friends pretty quickly. Yeah, and I ended up getting to platinum with him, and it was awesome. And I went more games with him, and I eventually got to diamond. And around that time, like I'd say that's probably like whenever more heroes were coming out and more the updates were out, and the UI update for the kill feed and all that stuff was rolling out as well. Resident Evil 7 was out. A lot of stuff was happening. But I was still here. I am here on Overwatch, and eventually got my first golden gun, which was for Sombra. And it was I remember it very clearly. I was sitting on my bed. I finally finished enough matches to get my first golden gun in the moment, and around the time that's when Sombra came out. Is like I was enjoying her so much, even though she was kind of weak at the time. She still kind of is a little weak in Overwatch 1, in my opinion. But anyway, I got my first golden gun for Sombra on that exact same day, and I was so happy because it was like my first ever like showing of my progress as a competitive player. And around that time, I'd say is when things kind of went downhill a little bit, because I had people. My friend. I know he's still a good friend of mine, but he started getting a little bit angsty because I don't know what it was. I don't remember what it was, but it was things happened, and he was getting a little more angsty, getting a little more impatient, and he was kind of like losing that charm that brought me to him and made me want to play with him. So I ended up going back into solo queue for a while after that, and I ended up dropping out of Diamond. So then after that I elected to take a small break, and I started playing other games like Dragon's Dogma, Skyrim, basically just a whole lot of other games like FIFA even, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. And eventually I made my way back into Overwatch, and I was playing that again basically like nonstop. Like it was a weird cycle for me because like around that time, and I was just kind of going in and out. But then I eventually got stuck into it for a longer time period. I even tried to make a overanalyze appearance it didn't work. I I never got chosen for it, but yeah, I still have the video on my old channel, Party Pants, but it's yeah, I never actually made it onto Overwatch 1. Uh, uh, overanalyzed, so I didn't really try out of that. But anyway, I went in as much as I can, and eventually, after solo queuing for a while, I eventually got into the Masters, and that's when I met another friend of mine who we duo queued with. I played DPS. He also played DPS, and we were duo queuing. And I grinded more and more, and eventually I made it to like 3,700, and that's where I kind of got stagnated a little bit. But that's whenever I was getting really into the game. Like I was learning all my characters' abilities as best I could. I was learning the matchups. I was learning what counters what. I was learning how to use my ultimate, how to best use my ultimate. I was learning like how best to stall a point, all that good stuff. I was basically like molding into some sort of Overwatch god at some point. It never really went that far, but that's the best way I can describe it. But I played a whole lot of it. I basically didn't play any other game besides Overwatch. I did start getting back into Smash, because I was playing that in Overwatch. Basically, those are like my only two games. They're like 70% Overwatch, like 30% Smash, and I grinded more. And eventually, I thought, you know what? What if I one-tricked D.Va? Like, I literally didn't play any other tank but D.Va. Because D.Va, if you guys don't know, is my favorite tank to play. It's really the only tank that I like to play the most. And I'm really good at her. I still am. At least I'd like to say I was. I was a really good D.Va. D.Va's so much fun to me. She's like kind of like everything I would want in a tank in Overwatch 1. Even like even before, like when she was just like didn't have the micro missiles and all that shit, she was such a fun tank to me. Like especially after they added that stuff though, I was like, oh, this is even better. Even though they had to nerf her health, but like I was fine with that. But anyway, whenever I started playing D.Va in Overwatch 1 and maining her as a tank, I decided one season to just one trick her for the entire season. And I thought, how far can I go with this? And what do you know? I eventually, I made it to 39.99. Like I was basically at GM by playing only D.Va, and my win rate for her was off the charts. It was crazy. I was so happy. I never actually got to past 39.99. Unfortunately, I got to there, and then I kind of like fluctuated between 3,900 and 39.99, and a little even dipped to like 3,800 at one point. But that was like probably the highest that I've ever gotten in Overwatch 1. But after that, I decided to take a small break from Overwatch for a while, because like after that I was like, oh my god, I'm never gonna get the fucking GM. It's not happening. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I really want to get there, but I didn't have anyone to run it with, because all my friends were like either diamond, like low diamond or platinum, and stuck in elo hell and platinum, because that's just how it was in Overwatch 1. And I really wanted to get into Grandmasters, but the only person I knew who could even get to that high didn't even play with me at all much. I knew GMs, but they just didn't want to play with me. That was the issue. So I ended up taking another break from Overwatch, and that break ended up being a extremely long break. And after that, around that time is when I got my PC, and not this PC that I'm recording and using right now, but my old PC, my CyberPower PC that I got for my birthday. It was not the greatest. In terms of performance, it was I think I had RX 560 graphics card with a FTX 6300 CPU, AMD of course, and it had 8 gigabytes of RAM, but both the RAM sticks were kind of like cheap RAM sticks that weren't even brand. And the motherboard, I don't even remember what the fucking motherboard was. But yeah, it was not a great PC. It ran Overwatch fine, but it was not the greatest PC. I'll admit that. So, yeah, when I got that though, I was so eager to get back into Overwatch. Kind of the same as Blue, if I'm being honest. Like where I took a long break and I couldn't really play Overwatch that much by myself because like all my friends were on PC by then, and my old friend Saiku, or like he had gotten into Overwatch again, and he was like, "Hey, you should get a PC, and we can play Overwatch together on PC." And I was like, "Sure," uh, and I was like, "Yeah," and I eventually got a PC. After like asking and asking, because like again, I didn't have a job, I didn't have anything like that to really buy my own PC, so I eventually got one, and that PC got me through a lot. I'm not even gonna lie, it wasn't the greatest PC, like I said, but it certainly wasn't like the worst either. You know, like I loved that PC to death. It helped me really kickstart my channel and helped me do a lot more content outside of other stuff. Because doing content, cause I didn't even have a capture card at the time, so I didn't even have any way to record my footage outside of like Xbox game recording, and that was not the greatest. So I didn't really have anything to make videos with at the time. And but when I got that PC, that was kind of enabled me to really expand on my channel and make it more into like a fully fledged channel and making something not what it is today, where I'm actually making content. It's actually good content, and it's not recorded on a toaster. So yeah, I got into Overwatch 1 again, and I started playing it basically as much as I did on Xbox. I started popping off. It was so much fun. I even got back in the comp. I didn't play nearly as much competitive on Overwatch 1 on PC, because on PC it was like a whole different playing field. Like people on there were actually really good. Like the skill levels for Overwatch 1 on PC were really different from skill levels in Overwatch 1 on Xbox or PlayStation. Because I'd say like a diamond player on Overwatch Xbox would probably be the equivalent of a gold, and that's what I was. I placed gold, but then I eventually got into platinum again. So it was a really big change for me, because like I wasn't used to having people like it was basically where like if you are at the higher skill levels, it really shows. But if you're at the lower skill levels, it also really shows. Like you can tell, hey, that guy is definitely silver, or hey, that guy is definitely a master. That's how it really felt on Overwatch 1 on PC. Because on Xbox, you could arguably say it's aim assist and shit. But on PC, like there's not any aim assist, and there's not a whole lot of things outside of just your skill level that contributes to your overall ranking and stuff. But that also enabled people to be a lot more toxic. So around the time I was still playing Overwatch. It was around the time Sigma came out, and I was playing on Overwatch 1. I started getting into it again because in college, I was in college at the time as well. I didn't have a whole lot else to play, because Overwatch was really the best thing that I could play on my hotspot, because I couldn't really rely on the college Wi-Fi, because it always made my game crash. It always made me lag. It was awful. I really could not stand the college Wi-Fi at my college. It was not good. So I had to use my hotspot for a lot of it, and Overwatch was one of the games that really held up the best under those circumstances. So I just ended up using that as my game that I really played the most when I was in college. And there was this one event where like I was playing Overwatch competitive a lot, and my aforementioned old friend, who I won't name, who I met on Overwatch 1 originally, he and I had gotten back into Overwatch competitive, and I thought it'd be a good idea to invite my boyfriend, who's still my current boyfriend. You all know who he is. I decided that we should do a 3-stack, because, you know, I didn't want him to be left out, and I feel like, you know, it'd be fun to try and get him into ranked, because if he liked it, then that would be awesome, because who wouldn't want their significant other to play ranked with them if they both play the game anyway, you know? I know not everyone cares about ranked, and nobody likes competitive that much, because, you know, it gets stressful, all that stuff, but I just wanted to try it and see how it goes. And originally it was going great. Like we were winning, we won some games, we lost some games, but we mainly won a lot. And it wasn't really an issue until I'd say when we went on a small losing streak. I'd like to say like 5 games in a row, 5 to 6 games in a row where we lost. And my friend, my old friend, he like said something like really mean to my boyfriend, and it was so bad that it made him cry, and he was so upset, and I had to leave the call and take my boyfriend out of the call, and I just took him to the side and like, hey, are you okay? And like we talked, and we sat there and talked. It's basically I was staring at the mini screen, listening to him straight up sob, like absolutely crying his eyes out, and it was awful. I did not want anything like that to ever happen again, and that was basically from the point on. I was like, you know what, I'm never touching ranked again, and I didn't. After that moment, I did not play ranked competitive on my PC, basically for the entirety of of my stay on Overwatch PC. I just couldn't bring myself to it after that. It was so traumatizing. I did not want to play Overwatch competitive. Hell, I didn't even play Overwatch at all for a long time after that. I just stepped away, played some Siege, played some Final Fantasy 14 online, and that's a whole different can of worms. But yeah, I didn't want to have anything to do with that game at that point because it was it was so bad. I can't even begin to describe how horrified I was to witness it as someone who, and not even, and that was before, you know, I could actually physically see him. Unlike now, like I couldn't see how he was, but I can imagine it in my head, and that was more than enough for me to just be like, yeah, no, I need to take a break from this game. So I ended up playing other games for a long time after that, and eventually I went back into it later down the line again, but I still didn't play ranked. I just played quick play and arcade exclusively, and I would get skins and stuff when they dropped, like event skins, and that was about it. But yeah, I didn't really have any intention of going back into the game at all after that, but I eventually came back into it because I couldn't stay away from that game for too long. It's something that is always going to be one of those games where it's like, yeah, you may hate it for a while, but then you'll eventually come back to it, even if it pisses you off to no degree. So, yeah, I ended up playing that again for a while, and after that, I tried rank one more time just to see where I was, and I got Masters again. So now, well, not Masters on PC, but on Xbox. I went back to Xbox because I didn't want to play my PC, and I got Masters again, and that was kind of like, yeah, that's probably that's about right. Um, did I feel like I deserved it? Not really, but yeah, that's how it happened. That was like probably the last time I ever touched ranked. I feel like the last time I touched ranked on PC was probably like season 20-ish. So yeah, even then I wasn't playing ranked a lot. It was just hard to go back to it after that. It's just so hard for me to want to play a game like Overwatch 1 on competitive whenever all that stuff happened. Not to mention other personal life stuff that kind of got into the way as well, besides that, but that was probably the biggest turning point for me. And yeah, but after a long time, you know, once I got my new build, not this current build, not the one with my new graphics card, but my one with my GTX 1080 6 GB graphics card, and I got my new AMD 6300 3600X CPU, my new 16 gigs of RAM, which is Vengeance sticks this time, and my actual decent motherboard. So basically a whole rehaul of my PC. Even I got a new case and stuff. After I got all that stuff taken care of, and I got that new build, I was like, yeah, you know what, it's probably a good time to get back in Overwatch again. So I've reinstalled Overwatch, and of course it played beautifully on my new build, because it was not like, I say that I got maybe like 50 to 80 FPS, not even 80, like 50 to 70 FPS on my old build, on my CyberPower PC, with my, even then it had the 1080 in there for a while, in my CyberPower, but it still didn't run all the games great, but it ran Overwatch pretty okay for the most part. But once I got my on my new CPU and all that stuff, it ran even better than before, and it was great. Like I was having such a blast. Like you, as you guys can see in my Overwatch, we back in it boys video that I made a long time ago. That was around the time where I got the new PC. So it was pretty much it was a pretty big turning point for me, for to say the least. So after that, I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna get back into Overwatch again. And I didn't really play ranked still, but I did play a whole lot of quick play, and I played it Overwatch on and off for a long time, and I had a lot of grind sessions where I just played Overwatch every day, and I even dragged some other friends into it as well somehow, who absolutely hated Overwatch. Even I still got to play that with them, and it was awesome. I really enjoyed the game. It made, like, being able to play like a game at a higher refresh rate and a higher FPS, a higher, consistency, no lag, no stutters, anything like that. It was just basically a whole new level of just not creativity, but a whole new level of just enjoyment that I didn't think I'd ever get with the game again, because it's a huge game changer whenever you get to play a game that you've been playing at such a basically lowest possible graphics and lowest possible lowest possible refresh rate, lowest possible everything, for so long, and then you get to play the game at high high graphics, at high frame rate. It just feels good. It just really does. I don't know how else to describe it. And yeah, and after that, I played it. I started playing it more, made more videos on it, made more clips and whatnot. I played the game a lot more after that because it was a lot more enjoyable and whatnot. And around that time is whenever Overwatch 2 first got announced, and I was like, oh shit, it's finally happening. We're getting Overwatch 2 again, or we're getting Overwatch 2 now. It's going to be great. So I was really, really excited for that. And I wanted so badly to play it. And as soon as I saw the first beta dropping for the game, like finally, because like I think that the first like little cinematic that they made for it was so long ago, but whenever they made the first PvP beta, I was instantly on that. I was like, you know what, I gotta get in this. So as soon as I saw that what I needed to do, I just went in, got my fucking Overwatch code, or Overwatch, not code, but Overwatch voucher to play it, and I just went right into it, played it as much as I could. So the beta went offline, made a video on it. After that, I went to the second beta. I bought the Watchpoint pack, and I played that beta, made a video on it, and played as much as I could. I will be honest, I didn't play the second beta as much as I wish I did, but that being said, the game's coming out tomorrow as the time of this recording, so it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, I played it as much as I could, got as much time out of it as I could, and then I played I basically played like with Crimson, aka Blue Ragnarok, as much as I could on the last day. And Blue Ragnarok and my boyfriend, we all played on the last day of the beta for as long as we could, and then I eventually went to bed. So that is, and then here we are, back on Overwatch 2 coming out tomorrow, and I'm just excited for it, as it feels like that I'm back in my old child sense of wonder. Just to kind of piggyback off of what Blue was saying in his video, it feels like I'm back on that feeling of like, oh my god, it's finally here, it's coming, I get to play it, and it's gonna be great. I'm I'm bouncing in my chair right now thinking about it, and I'm more than happy to play it and get stuck into it again. It's not gonna be a video, it's not gonna be anywhere near as tiring to play over and over again as Overwatch 1 got sometimes, because I just don't see it happening. This game is just too different. Despite all the people fear-mongering and shit about all the monetization, the fucking phone number stuff, all that stuff, which honestly, it's like, who cares? Like, despite all that stuff, I'm still more than excited to play for it, and I will be making a few videos on it, just a fair warning. I will still focus on 14 content, and I will be making 14 videos as much as I can, but just expect a few Overwatch 2 videos sprinkled in over the course of the few weeks. because I am so excited to make content on this game, and I'm so excited to just play it in general. It's been a long time coming for me to play this game and finally, you know, feel like that I have something to look forward to in the game again. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say. Like I said, this video ended up being super long. I just wanted to just it's kind of mostly just word vomit, but yeah, I'm really excited for Overwatch 2, and I hope you all are as well. If you are, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see any Overwatch 2 content on this channel, or if you just want to see Final Fantasy 14 content, that's great too. You'll find that here as well. I'll leave a playlist of my Overwatch videos on screen, so if you want to watch any of my old videos, even the ones where I was sounding extremely cringe and the quality was not nearly as great as I wish it was, you can. But anyway, I'll catch you all in the next video, and I will see you tomorrow with Overwatch 2.
Still a piece of garbage.